Let's look at one of the solutions that I offer for replication. Many clients that I've worked with starting out with replication oftentimes have a setup that looks similar to this, where you have a replication server that pretty much does everything. It subscribes to something, it distributes, and it also publishes data. And I've run across at least 3 or 4 different clients that do this, and it's a popular thing because a lot of people think that it's a popular setup, I should say, because a lot of people think that, oh, I can just put everything on one server, and it creates a mess. What will often happen is you'll hire a team of consultants, and the consultants will come in and they'll spread things out, and that's great. And then they'll want you to pay for all these third-party tools, and a lot of corporations are like, I just spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on other servers, and now I got to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on third-party tools, and then there's still problems, and the consultants are like, oh, we need to call Microsoft. Now they're spending money on that too, and pretty soon you end up paying lots and lots of money. Well, I have a very different approach to the problem here, and let's look at an example of an environment that was just a huge mess. Actually, two clients of mine had a messy environment like this, and this is kind of a combination here. They were basically systems that could never go down. Some of the data were used Monday through Sunday, so if your environment's like that, pay attention. Bad data were worse than no data, right? I've spent a lot of time in the financial world, and I'm going to tell you that the financial world doesn't want bad data. I'm sorry, they don't want they don't want bad data at all. They would rather have no data than bad data, okay? This is a challenge that very few people, especially DBAs, know how to work around. Because a lot of DBAs, it's sad, they don't have a lot of development experience, so they don't really know how to build a solution for this, and their tools don't solve this problem either. And that's why I don't like third-party tools. Custom tools are going to be required, especially in finance. 3, the present solutions that these companies were using caused blocking, interference with data flow, increased latency, reported inaccurate information, and didn't report data flow failures at all or predict problems that were growing, right? For instance, in one example, in a period of 2 months, the above solution that they were using had caused 4 outages and delayed reporting multiple times. One outage was a false alert. That's one of the worst things in the world, is when you're jumping all over something and thinking there's a problem and there's no problem. And then, of course, the above solution, in another example, also resulted in many meetings that wasted hours of unnecessary discussion. I mean, if you're a company and you're paying, let's say, consultants for $200, $300 an hour, and just think about this for a second. If you're in a meeting for 3 hours, and that one consultant, you just paid $600. You're just losing money right and left. And I understand that people in America think, oh, money can, be printed and it's easy to get access to. But that's not true. And you are losing time, you are losing money. And solutions should not create more meetings. If they're creating a lot of meetings, it's not a solution. Finally, in addition, these structures that these companies were using use third-party tools, almost which were completely unadvanced compared to the health check that I developed. And they are. Simply put, the health check that I made is out of this world awesome. And these third-party tools cost a lot of money. They're ridiculously complex to set up. They cost a lot of money, and then some of them even cause blocking to replication. That to me was the dumbest thing of several of the third-party tools, was that they were blocking what we needed to go through. And it was like, you're paying, these companies are paying millions of dollars a year for tools that are causing problems. Wow. So, what problems did I solve, and did my solution solve? First of all, my design ensured data integrity and guaranteed uptime. It was built to make patching verified and easy without any breaks. It's a big deal. What happens when you have replication that can never go down, but you need to patch that server? It's also very easy to scale both vertically and horizontally without disruption. It was a system without a single false alert that also automatically resolved minor issues without the need to hire junior DBAs and developers. No reason to spend money on more people if it's just a minor issue, right? If a robot can solve it, a robot can solve it. I built an alerting system that identified potential problems and was designed with schedule familiarity, providing a huge amount of time saved from false alerting. I designed an ETL replication health check that consolidated information, saving time and allowing quick resolutions to identify problems. I do a ETL health check for a lot of organizations as well. It's very similar to the replication health check, but the ETL health check is custom as well, so it varies by environment. So what I do is I identify the problems that will probably occur and then create a health check for that. A replication health check is similar, but replication has a pretty structured approach. And then, of course, this completely eliminated client worry of potentially false or outdated data. And then, of course, other behavioral reports and solutions that auto-resolved issues throughout the day and notify DBAs or developers when solving an issue. That's also big. You want to know when it's solving an issue. So first of all, you can filter that. So these are kind of a simple example. I removed a lot of the columns on some of these reports and then changed the values just for an example. The health check kind of looks like this. It's a very simplified health check. And the best thing about it, by the way, is it uses native tools. So if you have SQL Server, you're already paying for the license, you have SSRS. There's no need to be paying $100,000 more or $1 million more a year on some stupid third-party tool. Again, it's just costing you more money, right? You have an SSRS, you can get all the information you need. This is very easy for me to build. It does not take much time, okay? So what I have is I have the measurement. What is that measurement? The measurement value, and then the measurement assessment. And the measurement assessment is where I and a robot can fine-tune very quickly, or again, a client. You can hire someone who doesn't have that much knowledge but knows how to solve the problems based on what the measurement assessment shows. And then the other one is what I call my mismatch report. And what it does is it looks at the behavior of mismatches. And that's key because, for instance, let's think about ETL, for instance. Let's suppose you're loading 50 billion rows of data. Well, when you're loading that 50 billion rows of data, it is completely normal for the source and the destination to not necessarily be equal. Okay? So consider that. It takes into account that. So it's a smart tool. It's not a dumb tool. Like it amazes me how absolutely unadvanced most... and I've been at a lot of different companies that use row mismatches, and I'm like, these are so stupidly built. And but it does amaze me because it's like all you have to do is understand how to measure behavior, but a lot of people don't because it requires a lot of math. So as far as the replication here in ETL management, what I offer basically is minimal downtime. I'm going to look at your environment, I'm going to see how it's built, and basically we're going to set it up in a way that you can either never be down or very rarely be down. Okay, for some environments, no downtime. Some environments can't be like that. I'm going to build an automated replication health check. There's no extra tools. No extra costs, which is the best thing in the world, all native tools. So you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to pay for this third-party tool and that third-party tool. And if a person suggests a bunch of third-party tools, they probably don't know what they're doing. And that's why they're covering up their ignorance. Okay. Precise alerting if an issue arises. Again, my reports and my information never, and what I've set up, never generated a false alert. Ever. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. I mean, statistically speaking, it's bound to happen eventually. But compared to some of the other tools I've seen and some of the other third-party tools and some of the other things that people have built, which generated false alerts all the time, this has never generated a false alert. Data accuracy, purity, and guarantee with your clients that they get the latest data. I have a randomized data audit that I have constructed as well, so basically what will happen is if there's a question whether something is flowing right or if we make changes, what I'll do is I will do a randomized data audit, and that will confirm, yes, everything is good. And then, of course, a data architecture approach to enhance client peace of mind. And then in a comparison with the top 3 tools, because there's some top tools that people always recommend, this is something that what my tools do versus their tools. First of all, they never generated a false alert. They did not block ETL or replication. They did not increase latency. They did not impact server performance with too much monitoring or management, which is a big deal. One of my favorite ones is when third-party tools talk about, we only use 0.5% of the system's resources. Go ahead, do the math. You'll find out they usually use about 7 to 10%, which then means you have to either put more resources depending on your server load. They automatically resolved minor issues, alerting exclusively on major issues to save time and energy. Do you really want to know that a log is full? I mean, do you really want to know when there's only one solution to that problem? So stupid. It's mind-numbingly stupid when a tool's like, oh my gosh, statistics haven't been updated in forever. Then update them. Don't tell me. The other one is it prevented long downtimes versus other tools. Average downtime with the health check was less than 5 minutes. Whereas other tools, I saw people try to resolve issues, and I just counted. I would take the average. And one of the things that I noticed with these other tools, these other third-party tools, is that it would generally take people anywhere from 30 minutes to several hours to bring the system back online. And then finally, it followed the KISS principle, which is keep it simple, stupid. I don't want to have a bunch of noise in front of me. I want to just get the solution. So in a nutshell, this is a very fast process to build. It uses native tools, so it's very low cost. It's just going to be with SQL Server reporting services. You do not have to worry about setting up all this other stuff, which is, let's face it, too costly to do. And then finally, it makes very little noise. I don't want to fill up your inbox. You have more important things to do than to receive alerts all the time. And so when you do get an alert, you do know that that alert is meaningful and that the minor issues were solved by the robots underneath everything, but the major issues you're getting alerts on because those are where you're going to focus your attention. Also, because the replication health check is built simply, you can hire someone who's like a junior DBA who knows how to solve those specific problems to replication or to your ETL processes. So that's something that I can set up. And again, this is something that is not going to cost you any extra money outside of what you already have built with SQL Server.